Hi, my name is David Poland, and I want to welcome you to Portland Film Beat. Tonight, my guests are David Anthony Velarde. He's an actor, writer, pro wrestling promoter, Navajo, Apache, and Creek. I also have Joseph Thomas Bailey. He's an actor, writer, producer. He's also the executive producer for Search for Shayna Starr. He's Native American and Celt. In addition, I have Isaac Trimble. He's Native American. He's a producer, a writer, an actor. He's one of the founders of the Native American Entertainment Coalition. Actually, all three of them are three of the founders of the Native American Entertainment Coalition. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a little while. Anyway, let's get started with David, because you're right here. What first got you interested in acting, David?
Oh, I'd have to say my grandmother taking me to see E.T. In 1982 when I was 3 years old, and that just kind of did it all for me. I mean, that's one of my earliest memories. Yeah, I've always had the desire to be a ham and be a performer, so it was just kind of one of those things where knowing that the industry is here and that they're filming, it's just like it was too good of an opportunity not to try to partake in.
So you actually moved here from Idaho, is that right?
North Idaho,
Right.
Lewiston, Idaho, as a matter of fact. Yes, moved here about 5 years ago, and it wasn't until about 2 years ago that I actually got involved with certain things that were I had to attend to beforehand, and then
Right.
once those were taken care of, then I actually got involved with
And an exciting thing was that you were on Grimm, and your grandmother got to see you on Grimm, because I know she passed away recently, and it was a great thing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, she actually saw a small part in Grimm, but the one part that she actually got to see literally a week before she passed away was on Portlandia, where I had, for all intents and purposes, a minute of screen time, if you want to call
No,
it
that's
that.
good, though.
No-
It's probably a thrill for her as well.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, no lines or anything. I was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it was cool that, I was progressing, and she kind of got to see that before she passed on to the afterlife. So, yes.
And so Joseph,
Yes.
what got you started in acting? Joseph, by the way, I only read a little bit of his bio. This guy's got a huge bio, and I said I got to cut it down for time, for sake. So go ahead and tell us how you got started.
Well, I got started a few years ago, just being on TV with doing bodyguarding work, and then had opportunities to be on other movies as an extra, but never got put into it. Moved here, and I was like, I don't know anybody, and I'm gonna get involved. So I looked on something on Craigslist, and they were needing actors and so forth, and I got involved with that, and I met a lot of people, and I've got connected ever since, and it's been an ever-growing and positive experience for the most part.
Okay, and Isaac, what got you started in producing and acting?
Oh my gosh, my fascination with film was when I was a little kid. I was very interested in horror movies and about how they have the makeup and how it works, and chopped off fingers and all that stuff. And so that was my first introduction to film, is watching like Puppet Master and all these other films. And my dad was a carpenter, my mom was a seamstress, and so
Okay.
naturally, theater kind of followed and so on. And I always had kind of stage fright, but I noticed with film that I could take the time to be able to get things right and to watch the orchestration of many people get together to make something happen, make this film happen. And I got into producing because I know a lot of people, and I like putting people together, and I like seeing projects being done. Because that for me is the real joy in film, is to see an end product of everybody's hard work, their hard labor, and watching all of their little pieces come together.
Okay, great. Okay, and where have you trained, David?
I have a minor in theater and film from the University of Idaho. I took 2 years of acting classes. My teachers were Kevin Richard and Kelly Quinette Evison, who Kelly is still a theater teacher there at the University of Idaho. So they were the ones that helped train me and helped kind of mold me, if you want to call it. And then so far it's kind of just been on-the-job training, as you call it, on the film sets.
Okay, so Joseph, same for you?
Well, I'm an anthropology major, and I deal with cultures and things in between that deal with it, and a lot of it also deals with their storytelling portrayals. It would be not acting, but it's more of visual storytelling. So I got into that, and that's what I look at, and I don't have any real formal acting training, but it's always on the job. And I kind of figure School of Hard Knocks have taught me a lot, too.
Okay, and for you, Isaac?
For myself, it's all on the job training. It's always getting out there and doing something. Because for myself, I see a lot of folks who who are so concerned about how to get out there, and they go to all these schools and they do all this stuff. But
Yeah.
really, it's about how you can perform with other people, because
Okay.
really, it's about a service. So you have to be able to help each other out. So yeah, it's always on the job. Just go to that audition, go be an extra, humble yourself, and just keep
Hey,
going.
keep moving forward.
Just always moving forward.
Right, great. You know what? I really want to talk about Derezzed. And Joseph, I'm going to let you start and explain the premise of it. We're going to talk about Shayna Starr a little bit, but I want to talk about your project.
Well,
the thing that you guys have written.
It's me, Dave, and Manny. Mose came across and made to do this script, and its premise is basically, as it states in the title, it's Derezzed, an urban Indian tale,
Correct.
and came
Well,
up
that
with the
part
idea.
that got missed on the green screen behind us because it's in the bottom part.
Right.
But yeah.
Derezzed, I came up with the fact is the idea is that they were derezzed. They were taken off the res or forcibly thrown off the res due to certain situations within the movie, which you'll hopefully see once it comes out.
It's about a family like
It's
that.
a family like that. It's how.
Is it one family then?
It's one family. Originally, we started with the idea of having 2 to 3 families, and we looked at it like that would get too complicated. We focused it down just to one, and it's a family who has 3 children. The eldest one is in college, who went through a lot of heartache through being native and urban native on top of it through the most of the late 80s. Then the 2 other siblings that are going through high school in the 90s. And of course, the oldest one is going through college and still dealing with the same mentality of sorts that she went through, and it's a female character, the first one. She went through in high school. The same people that she dealt with then are in the university now.
Okay.
So it's kind of mulling over on
Right.
some old stuff, and then you look at you find out about the parents, the grandparents,
Right.
what happened from there, and it's basically something that you can possibly identify with, depending on your cultures.
Right.
And it's
But
not.
it's-
and
it's a
not
family
specific-
story,
it's
so
a-
we can
it's
all
a family-
identify with it,
It's a
right?
family drama predominantly, and it shows a point of coming back to your roots, coming
But
back
does it
to.
show some of the stereotypes that white people or
Yes,
they
to an
have
extent.
about Native
There's-
Americans?
a lot of it talks about it because it was from his experience, my experience, Manny's experience, and of course other experiences that we heard, like from Isaac and other people in the communities that we've dealt with, and we just kind of lumped it together for really in one movie.
Okay.
So we extracted little stories here, mixed it here, there, and just go voila.
Right. Okay. So how did you work on the writing on that, David? Did you sit together, or did you write pieces and come together and meld it together, or?
It took us probably about a month due to our schedules. What happened is that he would say, "Hey, I got an idea. Maybe we can go build off this," and so I would kind of take that and I'd relay personal experiences from my life and from other people's lives. Some of them, which are my family members. Some of what this film deals with is the boarding schools that several kids on the reservation up until right around the 1970s were forced, taken from their homes and
Right.
forced to go to school where they had their hair cut, their mouths were washed out with soap for speaking
There
their
is some
traditional language.
historical points to that in the high school
Okay.
talk.
Good. Right.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
a lot of historical context for sure.
Right.
definitely.
Okay.
And this is stuff that really nobody knows about. The only time I've seen any kind of mention, any kind of mainstream TV or film was on the 1994 production on TNT of Lakota Woman starring Irene Bedard, where they actually did show the kids and the Mary Crow Dog, the woman who wrote it, showing them being taken from their families and having their hair cut and being beaten for speaking their
Okay, so this,
tribal
like
language.
the movie
Yeah.
Smoke Signals was a little bit more on the humorous side. This one's going to be a little more dramatic.
This is a little more dramatic, and it's a little more towards realism as best as we can do it. We want to show the strifes and struggles not only of our own people, but what others may have come, whether if they've been here for generations or they first got here,
Right.
with something that they can acclimate to and then say, I understand this. I understand what this is. I understand what the, and with Derezzed, this is basically an Urban Indian Tale is hopefully one of about 4 or 5 of the Derezzed series.
Oh, there's going to be more.
Yes,
Okay,
we are
good.
tentatively looking at writing part 2 right now, but we're wanting to first kick off and see how well this first one is,
Absolutely.
because we don't want to be.
Do you think it would be something that would getting an independent film seen. Hopefully, it's great enough that you can go to Sundance and things like that. But
That is
maybe,
what we're doing.
maybe
We're
you
doing.
can get
We're
on
also doing.
PBS.
Was it the Indigenous Film Festival up in Canada?
Yeah, the
Cool.
Red Earth. Was it Red Earth?
yeah Red Earth
There's
a
and the
bunch.
Montreal's First Peoples Film Festival, Cannes Film Festival. We're also looking at Vail, Colorado, Vail Film Festival also.
Right.
And several other ones.
Yeah,
That's the
so
name.
everyone's also.
David, are you going to be an actor in it?
I might have a small part in
Okay.
it, but I'm more concerned with other people playing the best characters they possibly
Absolutely.
can. From the
We
guys.
all have all
It's
three
all
of
about the
us. All
story.
three of us have parts, including even his brother Solomon.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
How I became to be involved with D-Rez is I reached out on Facebook and I said, I produce a lot of Native American films and music videos and stuff. And David reached out and I met these guys right down the street from my place. And I read over the script. And I trained as a sociologist at Portland State University. That's where I graduated from.
Right.
And reading through the script, it was a very, very real telling of what happened in the 90s
Right.
with Native American families and so on. It brings a lot of issues forward. Some issues may have passed, but it's all still relevant in Native American communities. So
Right.
David did a wonderful job writing it. Manny Mo's put a lot forward. And when he asked me my advice, I just had my own telling. As not being a reservation Native American, but more of an urban Native American because I lived in the city.
Right.
I had a little bit of, some influence, but
Sure.
David did an amazing job in writing it. I felt that there are some scenes in there that I was reading where I had to take a minute and be like, oh my
Got
gosh.
choked up by it?
I really did. I really felt like I was not
Wow.
only just feeling for the characters, but I felt for their situations. And I felt like, where is the rest of the script? Where's the next
Gotta
piece?
go
Where's
to it,
part
yeah.
2? Where's, it really gave me a lot of, it really just gave me tingles the whole time. And I read a lot of projects and I see a lot of things, and this one here really struck home for me.
Okay, so there was I think it was kind of a documentary made in 2009 called Real Indian. And it was an insightful look actually into Hollywood Indian, exploring how native portrayal of North American Indians through a century of cinema, and actually it's changed, but there's still some roadblocks.
Right. One of the
And I'm glad that you guys are taking this on. Like Smoke Signals was done by a producer. It was all Native Americans and done. And so you're doing the same thing again here.
similar. We're the production company is Clearstream Entertainment. The producer is Simon King, very good man. He's British. I looked at it as a hybrid mentality because a lot of Native American movies are done, like you said, Native everything, and it's limited to just that sphere, and it doesn't go outside of
Okay.
that sphere. We want to have the world see, because like I said, there's even in Europe, they still think we run around with headdresses, feathered hair, and paint, and walking around and
Well, that's how you portray it in all the movies.
exactly.
So
And they still
that's
think
how
about it
Native
in
Americans
Europe.
how- yeah.
We want to come and present the fact of, as within D-Rez, and that's the other reason why we made the coalition as well, to promote everything that's artistic.
Right. The coalition
The Native American Entertainment Coalition. We wanted to show and educate not only our own, but everybody else. Hey, we're still viable, we're still here, and we're not stuck in pre-colonial times.
Exactly. A lot of people think
well,
that
here's
we're
the okay.
stuck.
So you have a degree in anthropology.
No, I'm a major in anthropology.
You major in anthropology, and you have a degree in.
Sociology.
And you
I
get to
have
school for-
degrees in mass media communications and public relations.
Business.
Okay, see, so I mean,
Yeah.
And I've dealt
it
with
blows away a lot of the stereotype that people still have.
Well, I've also
it-
been I'm a son of a teacher. I've used to be an educator. I've taught on reservations. I've done K through 12 and bilingual, and then multiple disabilities, everything you can.
and you
name it.
speak Spanish and,
Oh yeah, I
and
speak
some
Spanish,
Russian, from
and
what
some
I hear.
Russian. I pick up languages pretty well.
Okay, good.
The bad words are always the ones that you catch
Of course.
first. But,
Always
right.
the first.
Okay, you gotta
Always
learn
the
them
first.
first, man. How are you going to communicate without that?
oh yeah.
But I believe that D-Rez really brings it forward for everybody. I mean, for the non-native crowd, for the Native American crowd, and beyond, because there's so many things that are within this film that show folks that we're not just like old school Native Americans, like Iron Eyes Cody had portrayed in films for decades, but we are
Some of that
people
came out
who
in
have
Smoke
evolved.
Signals, too.
Well,
But we have evolved as people. We're doctors, we're lawyers, we
Well,
are.
okay,
Well,
here's the
speaking
thing.
about
All
Iron
those
Eyes,
You know what?
you know that Iron Eyes' adopted son, Robert Tree Cody, is in this movie.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He is. He's in the movie. There was a specific role I made for him specifically, and he assists in some of the things involved when the characters go back. The family is brought back to the reservation due to a certain incident.
Okay, okay.
So it shows
Well,
it
you got
comes back.
a name in it. That's
Well,
great.
I got that name. I got several other people I'm working with
great.
that I'm trying to bring on. Isaac Medeiros, he's on board. Dana
Great.
Day's on
We're going
board.
to talk about Shayna Starr in just
Right.
a moment. You know, Chris
But I'm
Rock's...
talking about on D-Res.
D-Res, right.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Shayna Starr in a second. You know, you said that, here's the thing is, I heard Chris Rock say, black people haven't changed, white people did. And I think it's the same is true with the Native Americans.
It's the same.
Native
mentality,
Americans have always been well educated. As a matter of fact, the way you guys look at, I shouldn't say that, that's rude. The way Native Americans look at nature and communication and stuff, I think that there's a lot we could learn from that. Because we call it the wilderness, and Native Americans don't look at it as wild at all.
No.
It's peaceful and calm, isn't it?
Oh,
Isn't it
definitely.
great?
There's always a balance with everything, and so
Right.
it's you know, the way that I view my daily life is much like everybody else. Like, you know, you wake up, you hear the alarm, grab coffee, and then like,
gotta
you know,
get your Starbucks.
yeah, you got to hit the road. But then there's also like, you know, also the things of our teachings, just like any culture, like
Right.
yours or, you know, Italian people or
Sure.
African Americans or so on. You know, everybody has their kind of things that they've done
Right,
in their
okay.
families for a long time, traditions, and so. Really, I just think that, you know, Native Americans, really, we're not separate really from anybody else. We're not completely different,
Right.
like, you know, living in teepees and hogans and you know, mud huts. You know, we are here and we've been here the whole time, and it's exactly like what Chris Rock said. You know, that you know, Native Americans haven't changed, or you know, African Americans haven't changed. It's that it's the non-Native Americans that have changed because they're more
views.
enlightened.
It's their views that have changed,
but
right?
more enlightened on views for sure. you
Right,
know.
absolutely. So, David, I'm going to start with you with Shayna Starr. What is your role in it? Because
Because
I know he's got a big role, so we're going to talk and let you talk.
I got
for a few
two
minutes.
roles. I
yeah.
have two roles.
I play a Native American. As far as I know, don't have any speaking lines.
What?
But it's
We'll have to talk to Isaac about that.
you know,
Not you,
as
Isaac,
long
not
as,
you,
as long as I'm in the film,
Right.
you know, I'm really just happy to.
It's
get
great
the
to get a part in a
opportunity.
film. I agree. So, anyway, Joseph, tell us about being the executive producer for Search for Shayna Starr.
I'm not only the executive producer, I'm one of the gunfighters. In
Are
the
you
movie.
really?
Yes. I can't really talk much about it because,
Okay.
you know, but as far as I know, I'm one of the gunfighters as well. Towards the end of the movie, but being the executive producer was a real big honor being asked to do it, and I do know some people. I've made some phone calls trying to get more funding, more connections, more
Right.
networking. It is really what you call on-the-job training and a crash course with a wing and a prayer, in a good way.
Right.
And but it's really good to be able to work with Isaac again in this one because we worked in another project he had before. And all I see with what's going to happen is everything's all positive and everything's going up, 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 and it's going to rock it. We hope.
Right. He's got Glenn Baggerly as the lead. And,
Right
Rachel
now, that's right.
Henry is another person.
Well, as far as I know, everything's still on board with that. We have some other potential producers as well.
So when's he going to start shooting?
That is tentative. We do have some production setbacks because of some funding.
Okay.
That we're just waiting for funding
Those
to
are
clear.
Yeah.
Always waiting for funding to clear. As much as you want to jump on board and get it done, you can't do it without money.
Right, that's true. David, I'm going to ask you now. You, to me, because I've talked to you before, have a presence and a charisma of a leader. I mean, the way you sit here and you're just, you have a presence of a leader. What roles would you like to get?
Oh, I'm pretty.
No. Would you want to be the cop or the
Yeah,
politician?
I like being the bad
What-
guy.
oh,
I like
yeah.
being a
Oh, yeah.
villain.
So you want to be the bad politician?
Yeah,
We
It's
just put
always
him as
the nice guys,
No,
right?
he
Play
should
the
should
bad
be the
parts.
anti-hero.
Okay.
yeah, anti-hero,
Oh,
bad guy,
okay.
villain. Yeah, I embrace all those roles. And
Yeah.
it just everybody wants to be the hero and to save the day, and I'd rather ruin the day than anything else. So,
What if you
yeah.
got offered the doctor role that saves the day?
Yeah,
You're
that's
gonna
fine.
take it.
Yeah.
But that puts us in great
Who's
light.
going to take that one?
Evil
Yeah.
doctor who does good.
Right.
Oh, that's an
Yeah,
anti.
twist, you
That's
know.
a twist.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, Isaac, what role would you like to get?
Oh my gosh. In acting, I always like playing the bad guy, but I always like being.
Everybody likes the bad guy.
But
huh?
you know, I like the bad guy only because of the character acting aspects, the things that I can't do in my normal life that I'd like to do, you know, in portray on film. But
you get to
also
be these people and do these things that you really want
right,
to do,
just,
but you can't do.
just extraordinary things. And also, it's just bringing a character to life more than anything. So if it was a good role, a not so good role, a non-speaking role, or in the background, it's all about getting everybody together and just really making sure that film gets done, and it gets done well, doing the film justice.
So, Joseph, have you ever felt like giving up?
There has been times I can honestly say, you know what, I'm tired of this, tired of that. But then I look at it, then I get a phone call or a text from a friend of mine or something. It's like, hey, would you like to do this?
Right back.
Well, just like recently, I had a conference call pertaining to something yesterday morning, dealing with Shayna Starr, and I can't talk much about it.
Okay.
But I was offered a role in another project as well, and I wasn't expecting it from my friend who was talking about it, who was a producer in Los Angeles. So I was like, I just dropped my jaw and I was like, oh wow, I feel so like special, and this kind of makes me feel okay. I don't have to quit or give up. So you never know what's behind the next day or the next moment or the next text or the next message. You
It
really
changes
don't.
day to day.
It does.
Right.
It's like the stock market.
Right. Yeah, nice. David, what's your favorite film?
Favorite film? Oh shoot, there's so many. I'd have to say the very first movie that I actually remember seeing, other than E.T., was Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Earl Jones.
Oh, that was awesome.
One of my
Yeah,
earliest
definitely.
memories, James Earl Jones' character turning into the snake and everything, and yeah, so
Oh, yeah, I know that's
he
creepy.
was a
isn't it?
skinwalker.
But it's
So,
creepy.
so that's probably that's probably one of my most favorite films, right there. Other than the Rocky films and everything,
So-
childhood of the 80s.
So,
So.
did you draw any inspiration from seeing James Earl Jones turn into a snake, or
Well,
Conan?
I've just been inspired my whole life by James Earl Jones.
Well, who hasn't? Yeah.
Having found out that he actually is of, I believe, Choctaw descent.
Oh, really?
Yes. It was inspiring in that regard. My grandmother, actually, who got me, I guess, inspired me to be in films. She actually mentioned that to me. So, yes, seeing him do that, and then his voice and his presence, that's
oh, his
always...
voice is, yeah, it's like
Yes.
Joseph
Darth
here. It's got
Yes.
the deep
It's
voice.
it's always been a really just a huge inspiration.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I'm inspired by so many different actors, either whether they're Native American or
Well, who's your
African.
favorite actor then?
Oh, I really couldn't. I mean, I'd probably have to say it's a tie between De Niro and Pacino, or Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought you
so
were
much
saying Mr.
charisma
I
and
mean, you
so
see them
much.
together in Heat in that cafeteria. scene.
Yeah,
It's
and then
pretty
of
intense.
course Mr. T, even though he's really not an
Yeah, but
actor.
you can, I pity the
he
fool,
is.
right?
Yeah.
I pity you, you fool.
He's
Anyway.
like,
Isaac, what's your favorite film?
Oh my gosh, I'd have to say, of course, my all-time favorite would probably have to be The Matrix. I love The Matrix.
Oh,
So, there's so much philosophy that's in that film. When you break it down. Another film that I like is Constantine with Keanu Reeves. I really like that film a lot because
Yeah, it's
he's
scary to me.
the battle of good and evil. A lot of visual effects in that film, but also is very true because I like his rustic character, although he's not rustic in other films.
Yeah.
Constantine would have to be my favorite for sure.
All right, and who's your favorite actor then?
Viggo Mortensen.
Is that right?
He was probably one of the best in The Road,
Right.
which was an amazing book that he really brought the character to life.
Right.
And also the character of his son, I thought that relationship was very
Right.
very scarce at times, but also his best role, I guess, for myself, seeing him in was Eastern Promises when he
He
got to
did,
play
he was
KGB.
one of the most believable Russians, I think. He looked
of
he
all
actually
time.
he had a great accent in that, I think.
The tattoos, his hair was amazing, his persona was great,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, that really battles Constantine as far as my favorite films right there. Is really good.
And Joseph, what's your favorite film?
well, I'm the child of the '70s and the '80s, and my biggest things were Star Wars.
Is that right?
Oh, for
They're going to
Star
come out
Wars.
with a new one here this year sometime, right?
I know, but
Yes.
I actually put in for that.
Did you?
I put in for when they had the casting call. I put in for a video submission for the new Star Wars. Sadly, I never got anything back.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
David, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, I'd like to keep progressing in my TV and film career. So that's kind of where I see myself. Other than that, just keep on doing not-for-profit work, helping with the Native community. So.
Good for you. As far as film and TV, would you rather have a lead in a series on television, or a supporting role in film every other year?
I think I'd rather just have a supporting role in film. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the the main star role. But I mean, those are really competitive. I'm just happy to be doing this, and
Good for you.
yeah.
That's
So
great to look
yeah,
at.
so I'm really not worried about being the star. I just like I like being in it, getting paid for it. So that's what's important to me.
And Joseph, where do you hope to see yourself in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, I hope to already have my my associate's and my bachelor's degree in anthropology. I will still be doing the entertainment business and stuff because I enjoy it. It's fun. I would like to be able to, in this industry, bring in what I've been accomplished and done, and also to bring basic positive notoriety for the Native community. Say, look,
Right.
like
Maybe
we
getting
just
more films made.
make more films.
Hopefully on the
we
50
have,
roast.
well, there's several other movies I
Yeah,
have
that'd be great.
that I have kind of planned out already in scripts. But like I said, I want to show whatever I can be, whether it's supporting or lead. I want to be able to portray the best that I can be, and if it deals with a native role, I want to portray the positive thing I can.
Good for you, right? And so, Isaac, where do you hope to see yourself in 5 years?
With all the hard work that I've done in film, past decade and more, like
Right.
I would just love to see that hard work be recognized in the form of being able to support myself 100% on that again, like I have in the past,
Right.
and also be able to produce more films and see other people's ideas and their scripts come to light, and also get them distributed and helping with funding, of course. Like
Funding is so
funding is
huge.
such a huge thing, and like just like Derezed and just like many of the other projects I work on, like The Fancy Dancer or Awakening or all the other films that I've worked on, like it's always comes down to funding. So I hope that within this 5-year time, I'll be able to not only support myself but also see these other dreams come true.
Right. You know, we're running out of time here, and David, Joseph, and Isaac, I really want to thank you guys for showing up and sharing
Thank you.
You're
about
welcome.
what's going on in the Native American community with film, because I think it's we need to know more about it, and I want to hear more about it. It's exciting to learn. Also, at this time, I want to thank Carol Poland, who is the executive producer, and my wife, Ellery Nelson, who's the director, Phil and Sue Holmes, who are the assistant directors. I also want to thank Emily Rowland and Kate Richards down at PCM TV. They helped me out a lot, and I have to thank them for their patience with me. And I also want to thank Christo and Krista down here at TVC TV. And until next time on Portland Film Beat, let me say that again. Until next time on Portland Film Beat, shoot for the silver screen.